The Score North Twin Show.
Wah, wah. Yeah, the Twins got their asses kicked in Game 3. 9-1 by the Houston Astros. This is a live edition here on the Score North YouTube channel of the Score North Twin Show. It's Mackie, it's Judd, it's our guy Declan, spinning plates behind the scenes. A raucous Target Field crowd again in the pregame. You had a great moment. Johan Santana,
Really cool.
Joe Mauer first pitch, and before Johan throws out the first pitch, they sent Pablo Lopez out to give him the ball to throw to Joe Mauer, and Johan says, "Wait, don't come any closer." And Pablo was like, "What?" And Johan unveils his Pablo Lopez jersey, and fans were jacked up. Sonny Gray starts the game, 0-2 count right away to Altuve. Here we go. And then the wheels kind of came off, and so we'll dive into a pie chart of blame. We will do an Immaculate Grid here on the show. But let's shout out a couple of our friends who make this show possible. I saw this thing, the Score North Twin Show hit 8th on the Apple National Baseball charts earlier this morning. 8th.
Really? You guys are awesome.
Yes. So you guys have pushed this show to the moon over the past few weeks, and we appreciate that. So before we get to a pie chart of blame, Declan's the chef, and an Immaculate Grid, Judd, tell the audience about Ugly Deck. Not Upper Deck, where those home runs are landing. This is uglydeck.com.
So the Twins put forth today an ugly performance. Ugly Deck is named ugly, but they actually are going to give you a beautiful deck. So if this makes sense, Ugly Deck actually is the closer. It's the winner. It wins every series. And right now they're offering what they're calling a Reserve My Deck Package Now special for the DIYer who wants to build a deck in the spring and save huge. This is for a limited number of customers who reserve their deck package now. UglyDeck.com is offering up to $1,000 off a full package plus locked-in 2023 pricing. UglyDeck.com will deliver your deck package to your driveway by May 1st of next year. And you're going to save as much as, get this, you guys, $10,000 on your deck build. Yes, that's right. $10,000. $10,000 on your deck build. And with what Ugly Deck does for you, you get free plans, a free coach, and a coach that's good at their job, access to their online deck build academy, and they will install your footings and ledger. You do the rest and save. UglyDeck.com. Click on the Reserve My Deck Package Now button and save $10,000. And of course, tell them Score North Twin Show and the guys from Score North told you to inquire, because you're going to come away a winner.
Yes, we'll tell you about Hire a Pro a little bit later on in the show here, but I don't want to spoil Declan's pie chart of blame here, so maybe Declan can do it however he wants. I just want your main takeaways from this game here. They got smoked 9-1. What's like the thing that stood out, Judd, to you?
Okay, so I think we're going to, as we do often after games like this, focus on 9-1, 9 runs against, right? 9 runs against. They gave up 9 runs. But I did a little bit of math before we started here, and I looked back at their last 10 Twins playoff games, and in that time, they are now 3-7. They beat Toronto twice, and Houston they beat on Sunday, okay? But in that time, by my count, they are averaging 2.5 runs per game, and that includes the 6-run game on Sunday.
Yeah.
2.5 runs. So this all comes back, guys, to what it started off. It's really a conversation about, can you get clutch hits? The Twins had 3 hits today, but had a ton of action on the bases because of walks. So my main takeaway is this. Sonny Gray didn't have a great start, and yes, they eventually gave up 9 runs, but it's the offense that continues to let this team down.
Yeah. I think if you would have told me Christian Javier is going to walk 5 batters with no other information, if you would have just said, hey, the only stat I'm going to give you is Christian Javier, the Astros starting pitcher, is going to walk 5, and I think he plunked someone too, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Jeffers, did he hit Jeffers?
Yep.
So he walked 5 and plunked a guy. Do the Twins win the game? I would have said, whoo, boy. They certainly score runs, right? They certainly probably put a crooked number up somewhere. I feel like it's almost impossible to only score 1 run in a game in which the starting pitcher walks 5 and hits a guy. And yet, here we are. So, yeah, it is outside of that 6-run outburst, the 20-year continuous problem for this team, different rosters, different managers, everything, is they don't score runs in the postseason. They still have a great chance to win this series. Home game tomorrow again. Joe Ryan, if you get the best version of him, can be a really, really good starting pitcher. So if they can win and send it to a game 5, and then Pablo's back on the mound. So my takeaway isn't that they're screwed or that the sky is falling. They just have to win a baseball game at home and force a game 5. And so I'm still in wait and see mode here.
Jose Urquidy, Dusty announced a post game. He will get the start. He was hurt a lot of the year. I think he pitched a shutout late in the season after he came back. But as far as pitching goes, like this is not a, oh my God, Ryan starting and Houston's going to have their ace. I mean, this should be a very even type of game. And again, the bats have to produce.
Yep. So
yeah, the bookends of this, first inning and ninth inning, 7 of the Houston 9 runs came in those innings. First inning and the ninth inning. The Twins had every opportunity to come back in this game. Same amount of men that were left on base for Houston. Twins and Houston both left 9 men each on base. So there was opportunities here. The score looks like it was an absolute ass kicking, and it felt like though the Twins had numerous chances to get there. They just couldn't win this game.
Yeah, they couldn't get a hit. They kept swinging at
Oh yeah.
I mean, Javier has a really good slider, and the Twins just had no ability to lay off it. He's not throwing it in the zone very often, too. He's using it as a pitch to get you to chase. Like Royce Lewis was just way over amped up today in a couple at bats for sure.
Is there something about that slider that played with the early game afternoon shadows? Because Houston seemed to hit the ball just fine early in, and I mean the shadows do play a role, but it was like the Twins couldn't see the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just asking. Yeah. I'm not making excuses.
No, I know, and I heard that. I heard that in the post game too. But at the end of the day, the shadows are the same for both teams, and one team scored 9 runs, and the other team had 1 hit until the 7th.
And Houston scored 4 in the first.
Yeah,
thanks in large part to a guy I think Declan's going to get to.
All right, that's
why I'm throwing it to you.
Let's do it. Let's get to the pie chart of blame here from Declan.
The Rock knows
Chef
how
Declan.
you feel about pie.
How many slices are we dealing with here?
We're dealing with 5 slices of pie.
Okay.
5 slices of pie. Actually, the culprits were mostly sliced up by the 6th or 7th inning, and then there was some ingredients that were sprinkled, ingredients that were sprinkled into each slice that I had to change up a little bit in the recipe.
Like a topping, like a pie topping kind of. Okay.
Yeah. So 5 slices of pie. We're gonna start from the bottom and work our way up. Thought about being dramatic and going from the top and going from the bottom, but we're going to build this up a little bit here, a little bit of suspense.
Okay.
So 5% to Matt Wallner.
Yeah.
Matt Wallner, I need you to act like you've been there a little bit. And I know you're a rookie, but when you're trying to get the team pumped up because you're taking a walk, it doesn't really do a lot for me when you're down 6 or 7 runs, pal.
We need bombs. We need bombs, not walks. Bombs,
no
not
hits.
walks from Matty Wallner. Yeah.
0 hits for Matt Wallner this postseason. Doesn't have a single hit. Now, he made a nice, diving catch today. Draw a couple walks. Tries to get the bench fired up. That's not going to do it for me, Matt. I need a little bit more from you. Need a little bit more from that, Pat. And you get a little slice of pie. Just 5%, but you deserve a slice of pie in this pie chart of blame.
0 for 8, 5 strikeouts.
He did walk twice, like Dex said, but
yeah.
You know what? We're kind of at the stage where you're going to come up mostly with a guy or two on here and there, and
yeah,
the walks I can appreciate getting on base. That's fine, but Matty Wallner's in that lineup to hit bombs.
Yes,
at some point, gonna need a bomb. Need a bomb.
Know your role.
Okay.
Second piece of pie. Maybe this is too low to some, but to me, he's not really a big factor. 10% to Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray absolutely deserves a spot in here when you allow 5 runs. 4 of them were earned, which we'll get to. But I thought Sonny Gray mostly actually pitched okay in this game. I don't think Sonny Gray is the reason you lost this game. I don't think Sonny Gray is the second reason you really lost this game. Sonny Gray throws a lot of pitches. That was the case today. His strike rate was really good, but that's Sonny Gray. He's going to throw a lot of pitches and kind of work himself around a little bit. I think Royce joked with us on Tuesday morning that he likes to pitch when it's 3-2. When you give up 5 runs, 4 earned, you for sure weren't perfect today, but Sonny Gray, in my opinion, is not a big reason of why you lost this game. So he gets a slice of pie, but it's just 10%.
I agree with this. I agree he has to be in the pie chart of blame.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to... All right, I'm going to just save... Because I know there's got to be someone else here that... There's got to be someone else in here. So I have a take on it. I'll just let you keep going, and then we can get into a side street.
Oh, yeah.
Third chunk of pie, 15% 15% to the manager, Rocco Baldelli.
Wow.
So I wanted Rocco to make some proper changes throughout the course of this game. Little interesting decision to go with Willie Castro to load up on the lefties. I would have liked to see Michael A. Taylor in center field if we're just going to put a guy at the bottom of the order. And I'd rather have the guy who has a little bit more pop and has a much better fielding experience than Michael A. Taylor. And then there was a couple moments today that were just a little confusing. You know, you bring in Maeda and he doesn't really do anything for you. You let Ober wear it, but then maybe you just burnt out Griffin Jax possibly for game 4. I thought there was other opportunities too to pinch hit people, and he did not elect to do that. So he deserves a chunk of pie here. It's 15%, but I don't think Rocco brought his A game, if you will, to game 3.
The burning of Griffin Jax is really interesting because the game was over. Like you put Bailey Ober in the game as a white flag sacrificial lamb, I thought, right? And so, okay, He starts giving up bombs and runs. The game is over. Like what? Why, if Griffin Jax is your number 2 behind Duran, why even bring him in that situation?
So I tweeted that because I'm like, why? Because when he got up, I actually tweeted, why is Griffin Jax up at this point?
Yeah.
And the response of some was, well, he hasn't pitched for a while, so they might want him to come in and throw some pitches before tomorrow. But I'm like, this game is over. Like, he can get up in the bullpen if he needs to throw a few pitches. I was very confused about that. I agree with you.
I guess, I mean, maybe they have data. I'd have to go look at some of the back-to-back data on him, but it would seem that if they were worried about him not throwing pitches, I mean, he could have, I don't know, like, I guess you're not going to throw a bullpen before the game because you might need to be used in a close game. I don't know what to do with that. I don't think it shipwrecks anything. It certainly doesn't prevent him from being able to pitch tomorrow, but it was just a little odd, I guess, to heat him up in a 9-1 situation. So the other thing, what was the other weird time? Emilio Pagan came on with runners on base. Mm-hmm. He inherited 2 runners.
Yep.
And he got out of it, and he did a really good job. But the numbers show you there is a huge difference between Pagan coming into a clean sheet and Pagan coming in with runners on base. And at the time, the game was still sort of in question. But I also get that the Twins, you know, I think they were down by like 4 or 5 runs when Pagan came in, and so it wasn't the highest leverage situation. So they might be saying, hey, if we can bring him in any low leverage situation, he's going to be lights out, even if there's guys on base. But I thought that was interesting. They kind of went against the Pagan trend, bringing him into a messy inning.
It was 5 rip at that point.
Okay. So it was low leverage. They figured it's low leverage. We can bring Pagan in.
And he did fine. He did do fine, so you're right.
Okay.
2 chunks of pie left. Yes. 1 to an individual, 1 to a collection. I think it's pretty obvious where I'm going here. But I honestly want to throw this entire pie at this guy's face. 30% to Alex Krilloff.
Yeah.
I want to throw the whole pie in his face.
You wanted to bench him basically after the miscue, and that's putting it kindly, in the first.
Yeah. That was a well-earned error. That was a horrible judgment of that ground ball. He doesn't make an attempt at it. He's flabbergasted. It's fair. It continues the entire inning. It derails you. It puts you down 4-0. You make that play, and it's 2 outs. Like you still, you know, you're still going to potentially be able to get out of that inning, and maybe Altuve ends up coming up to score, but it's still 1-0. 1-0 versus 4-0, humongous difference, man. And in general, his offense at the plate was brutal. When he struck out in his first plate appearance after the error, I told Judd I'd bench him right now. I'd absolutely bench him right now. He does not have a single hit in the playoffs. He's been an absolute automatic out when he's been at the plate. Alex Krilloff wears individually the biggest chunk of this pie, 30% to Alex Krilloff.
I feel like this is low, to be honest with you. I would have given Krilloff more than 30%, but I appreciate the entryway for this discussion here. So, dumb question real quick before we go back to the first inning debacle. It was hard to be fully locked in because they don't show replay. Old Macadac was a man of the people today.
I actually want to ask you about that. At some point.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Just kind of roaming around. So I just snagged a standing room ticket, and you guys are taking the press box, the posh white collar press box seats in the warm. Was it the glass closed probably today?
No, Sports and I were side by side.
We were elbow to elbow. We were talking game strategy, bench coach and manager, basically. It was
both
great.
with our own scorebooks.
Yeah, I was out taking photos with the hordes of fans of the Score North Twin Show and Purple Daily before I die.
I hope your security team was with you.
Yeah, I feel like maybe more
Could be
security detail for Game 4 is going to be necessary. But my dumb question is, so Krilloff did get pulled after 2 at-bats for Donnie Barrels, right? And Donnie Barrels came in to face a right-handed pitcher, right?
Yes.
That was interesting to me.
Reverse splits.
Okay.
Hunter Brown had reverse splits.
Okay.
Righties hit him better than lefties. At first, that was my thought too, but looking at the data, he has reverse splits. I would have benched him after the first at-bat. You make the error, and at that point, if you make that play, even if Altuve gets to second, it's 2 outs. And then instead the inning continues, and your offense is brutal, so that's why I gave him 30%.
So here's another dumb question. Again, they weren't showing replays of these inside target field. They just wanted to move on to the next batter. So I wasn't able to
You should have got a
see
replay.
this.
I said you should have gotten a replay on that scoreboard.
So Altuve, this is where I defend Sonny Gray and put more pie on Krilloff.
Yep.
He starts Altuve 0-2. He's dialed in. Altuve gets kind of an off balance, almost like a check swing, single up the middle. It was not a good swing. One of those where you just kind of tip your cap to Jose Altuve, whatever. Then he strikes out Bregman, second batter. And at this point, I think Sonny Gray's dialed, right? He came in, pump strikes to Altuve, strikes out Bregman, and then gets a weak ground ball dribbler basically down the first baseline. And Alvarez, I know he's covering a little more ground from where he's starting his run to first base, but he's not very fast. I thought that was a double play ball potentially. If you attack that ground ball, is it a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning? Or would there not have been enough time to throw it back to get Alvarez at first base?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's good. Yeah, I don't think he's good enough. I think if it's Herbeck, you're probably right. There's a chance.
Minkiewicz pegs it.
I agree with Declan. But I mean, the play just has to be made. It's just the second out.
So but it's not, and it's Altuve running too. So it's probably an out at first base.
Correct.
Altuve's on second base.
Correct.
And then Tucker might still single, scoring Altuve. So there's a chance that they still put up a crooked number. Abreu. I mean, who knows how the inning plays out differently in that situation. I thought there might have been a chance for a double play when I saw that live. Oh my God, it's just like a grounder to first base.
Yeah.
If you can get Altuve at second, it's a pretty easy throw back. I'd have to see the replay again.
Yeah, it went from either runner at second and 2 outs if that play happens, and instead it's an error and it's runners at second and third.
Yeah.
With 1 out, and that's obviously pretty brutal. So I understand the miscue, in my opinion, does have the biggest slice here, has a big slice. But the main reason I didn't give him the full chunk of pie here is just because when your offense has numerous opportunities, and I believe with my St. Cloud State math, 4 left on in the first 3 innings against a pitcher who has a lot of fly ball problems, the offense is the biggest to blame. 40% to the Twins' lack of timely hitting.
Okay, that's the 5th slice.
Yep, 5th slice. Twins' lack of timely hitting. Even though the 1 hit, they had numerous opportunities to put up crooked numbers and to bust this game open. And heart of the lineup up, Royce Lewis up, Carlos Correa up numerous times with big bats at the plate. They failed to deliver. They could have gotten these 4 runs back even after the Krilloff miscue, and they still screwed up a little bit. So Krilloff individually, I believe, does deserve the biggest individual pie of blame. But I think the lack of clutch hitting by the offense is the biggest miscue here. So 40% to them. So 5 slices of pie, 5% to Matt Wallner, 10% to Sonny Gray, 15% to Rocco Baldelli, 30% to Alex Krilloff, and 40% to the lack of timely hitting.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
Now, 2 of 3 games in which this team has needed clutch hits and just completely failed. And I went back and looked, okay? They've now played 5 playoff games. And yes, they swept Toronto, but keep in mind, they didn't score a ton, okay? In the Toronto series, runners in scoring position, 1 for 10. So in 2 games, 1 for 10. In this series, game 1, 1 for 12. Sunday, 2 for 6. Okay. God. And you won that game. Yeah. Today, 1 for 9.
Brutal.
So I've got them in the playoffs in 5 games, runners in scoring position. So you need a clutch hit. 5 for 37.
I might have snuck a 6th slice in, just a small one for our guy Royce. I love me some Royce.
Thought about it.
Dude's a badass. Dude's a badass. But a lot of ducks on the pond today. A lot of ducks on the pond today. So, I mean, he's also like one of the biggest reasons why they're even in this series to begin with from what he did against Toronto.
And he loves the show. Hey, Royce, what's going on?
If Royce is watching or listening, we love you, Royce.
Phil,
we
we
had
had
like a
another-
3% slice. 3% slice.
We had another confirmation today that Royce Lewis loves our show.
Royce, anytime you want to come on the Score on Our Twin show,
Appreciate you, man.
you're welcome to come on. You want to make some write that down predictions?
Oh, you're on.
Anytime you want to come on, this is a Royce Lewis friendly zone here on the Score on Our Twin show. But I might have given like a 3%, 5% slice for, I feel like he was a little amped up in that first at bat where you give up the 4 spot. And I do think there's some value just getting one across in the bottom of the inning if they could have just like come out of that thing. All right, it's 4-1, but hey, we're fighting back here too, right? We're here.
Oh, yeah.
And, he had a chance. I don't remember the exact scenario, but I think there was a couple guys on base when he came up to the plate in the first inning. And
There were.
yeah, I think he had his mind made up that he was going to ambush Christian Javier. And that slider just kept, that third pitch was so far out of the zone. But we'll see what happens tomorrow, man. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't think today was a death sentence necessarily. They can win 2 games against this team, and they have Pablo Lopez pitching one of them. So there it is. That's Declan's pie chart of
The
blame
Rock knows how you feel about pie.
for the Twins falling down
I think it was very
2
fair.
games to 1.
And I do agree that while Gray was not at his best, you know what? He had a rough first. He was not helped there. But then I believe after that, he gave up one more run, and it was a solo home run to Bregman, and that was it.
You know what he did?
He was he battled his tail off.
There you go.
nothing
Ding,
else.
ding. He battled his
We're gonna
tail
have to do
off
that
right
tomorrow.
there. Yeah. Battled his tail off.
He did. He battled his tail off.
Yeah. You know who else is battling their tails off? The folks at Hire a Pro. They're battling their tails off so you can make a profit off of your hail-damaged roof, okay? So Hire a Pro is different than roofers because what happens is roofers wind up sort of bloating the cost of fixing your roof after hail damage. Hire a Pro comes in here, and they take care of all the middleman work for you. So you can be your own general contractor. You can earn a profit on a hail claim. That's what Hire a Pro is all about. So if you have an approved roof replacement, if you have like insurance approved claim, then our friends at Hire a Pro who've jumped on board the Score North Twin Show for this playoff run, and we appreciate that. Here's all you have to do, all right? Give them a call at 651-402-3400. That's 651-402-3400. Or go to the website, hirea.pro. That's hirea.pro. And you can make money, potentially, a profit on your hail claim. So, no, there certainly weren't Twins home run balls falling on your roof today. We know that for a fact. Probably hail from a couple months ago. So, thanks to our friends at Hire a Pro. All right, boys. Let's also shout out our friends at Livia here, too. And then we can get
Most
to an
definitely.
Immaculate Grid. Our friends at
Most
Livia helping
definitely.
listeners lose a lot of weight these days.
Yep. And a couple of years back, they helped me. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it right there. They helped me drop 40 pounds. And they have helped a lot of people who watch our shows to drop weight. And guess what? It's because it works. It's not a diet. It is a lifestyle change, but it's a lifestyle change that doesn't stop you from living your life. And that's the most important thing. Oh, wait, that's the most important thing until I'm going to tell you this. If you have been procrastinating, we all procrastinate. We all say, you know what? I'll start that weight loss program tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is here today. That's because through Saturday, October 14th, so this Saturday, Livia is offering what they are calling Livia Days. Join now, and you're going to get not 3 months free. That's been the offer for quite some time. But through Saturday, 6 months free. 6 months for free. So get on this right now. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com. If you're outside the state, it's not a problem. The entire thing can be done with their dietitians and nutritionists virtually. So again, 6 months for free. Imagine the amount of weight you could drop in that time. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com. Before we get to the Immaculate Grid, can I chime in with some Rocco post-game notes?
Yes.
From downstairs. I think there is at least one very important talker here. Yordan Alvarez has been an absolute beast at the plate. By my calculations, in this series, he is now 6 for 12. He has hit 4 home runs. He has driven in 6 runs, and Dex did the math on his scorebook and said Yordan has reached base 8 of 13 times. So he has one more plate appearance than official at bat.
Yeah.
So after his monster day today, 3 of 5, a home run, Rocco was asked about, and it's a very fair question. He basically was asked, what do you change, or do you just stop pitching to him? Because Joe Ryan likes to give up the long ball, and Yordan could hit a ball to the IDS. Rocco is sort of, and look, how he feels and what he's going to say, I understand, can be different. But Rocco said, paraphrasing him, I wrote down this note, I think we pitched him fine today. So I don't know if they're going to keep trying to pitch to him. I mean, I would suggest that if I could pitch around him with Joe Ryan, I might do exactly that. I would certainly be cautious as hell. But I mean, this guy is really, really damn good, and he is on a heater right now. He could end your season tomorrow if you're not really careful.
He is that good when he's this hot. You know, he's just like, if you took every hitter in baseball at their peak, I think he's one of the 5 guys you'd least like to face. If everyone is performing at their peak power, he's that dangerous. So I don't think you can just like pencil in 4 walks for him in a game, because now because there's a bunch of other dudes in that lineup that can do damage, and you ideally don't want guys on the base paths. But the way he's dialed in right now, I don't know that you can throw him pitches over the plate. And when Sonny Gray was saying in his post-game commentary that, I think was he talking about maybe it was a Abreu's at bat. I think it might have been a Abreu's at bat, but he was saying like, man, this lineup, like I've made some pitches that I feel good about, and they just hit the ball hard anyways.
Yeah,
it's a pretty insane lineup when everyone's like at their peak.
The Jose Abreu home run that he talked about, he tried to throw a sweeper and it just spun. Like it was a hit me. That's a bad pitch. The Bregman pitch was a bad pitch. But I just don't, if you leave Target Field tomorrow night and your season is done and Yordan Alvarez has, 3 RBIs, 2 or 3 hits, and another home run, I think at some point you're going to say, I wish we really hadn't pitched to him as much. I understand that this is a good lineup. I just don't want him to be the guy that, single-handedly sends me home.
Yeah, and I would say, that's a focus. If you look at this pitching matchup tomorrow, Joe Ryan has home run issues, and there's been times where he looks unplayable, but I think that was mostly injury-related. Joe Ryan at his best is a really good starting pitcher. Urquidy, who's going to start for the Astros tomorrow, I know he was good in his last 2 outings in the regular season. I think it was like 9 2/3 across 2 starts of scoreless baseball. Urquidy is very hittable. Very hittable. In fact, I think his expected ERA and his actual ERA were over 5 this year, but his fielding independent pitching, his FIP or his xFIP was 5.5 this year. He's essentially a pitch to contact guy in this era. Like, his strikeout rate is one of the lowest on a bell curve among all the regular starting pitchers in baseball. And he's a big fly ball guy. So this lineup, and again, Christian Javier had some of the same things that you would say, like he's a fly ball guy and he's coming in here. He also put 6 guys on base without even counting hits, and the Twins couldn't take advantage. You can take advantage of Urquidy. That's not a guy that should shut your lineup down for 5 or 6 innings. No. Although he did the second week of the season back in April, he did pitch like 6 innings and gave up 1 run against this Twin.
Yeah, scored some damn runs.
He should not be shutting you down with your season on the line. Guys like Royce Lewis and Max Kepler and Carlos Correa should feast a little bit on Urquidy with the season on the brink tomorrow. So go score 7 or 8 runs and just eliminate all doubt is what I would like to see.
So if Texas beats Baltimore, and they're playing right now, the last I saw it, Texas led. If Texas beats Baltimore and that series ends, this definitely goes to a night game, correct?
I've heard that, but is that official? I mean, it's listed as a 1:00 game right now.
Yeah, and what's weird to me is the Dodgers game tomorrow is a night game too, and I know it's on a different network, but would they really stack 2 night games against one another when they can just kind of have a 1, 3, and 7?
It's also weird that it's like 8:00 at night, and there's going to be players that don't know what time to start warming up until
Rocco
like
tried to
10 or
downplay
11.
that.
It's weird.
Rocco was asked that question and tried to avoid it, but and I think that the question was asked more in the vein of Joe Ryan is not going to know when the game is until late tonight.
Right. It is.
And what's that like?
I guess you go in just planning for a 1:00 game, and then you find out at 10:30 tonight, based on the result of Orioles and Rangers, that just push it back by 5 hours. But it is kind of a weird deal.
Mm-hmm.
So those are Judd's notes. Judd was down there for the press conferences. All three of us were in the stadium. It was, roaming around, man. This is the first time in my career doing this, like an idiot on a microphone, that the Twins have actually had a run. A run meaning they win a series and they've won some games and they're fighting in the next round, because it was 2002. So just being around the energy at the ballpark, even though they quickly got ambushed for 4 runs, it was super fun. And it was. I hope it's like that tomorrow, and I hope they get a lead, and I hope fans. I always say fans still get a little bit when the opposing team scores 4 runs like that. Minnesota sports fans, there's that pucker factor that we all get based on 20, 30 years of trauma. That was the one thing I did notice today. It got real quiet, real quick.
So the play that I sensed that, and here's where I'll defend the fans. I sensed that on the Krilloff play.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
here we go again. God.
And if you're not going to make that play, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, it's a huge missed play.
A home run, okay, that's unfortunate. But like Declan said, and I'm sitting by him, and it's like, is that ball going foul? Why is he sort of nonchalanting it?
Super weird. Yeah.
And then the fans, to me, were like, ugh. But I'll defend fans. Like you people don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Make the play.
And I'm not ripping on fans. I know that feeling. We all know that feeling. It's that Minnesota sports angst, or here we go again. It's very easy to take the wind out of our sails because we are a damaged fan base. And I do think the fans do have an impact. And the umpire, the home plate umpire, 2 or 3 times early with Christian Javier missed pitch clock violations where the clock was at 0 and he had not yet started his delivery. And fans picked up on this and started counting down from 8, 7, 6. And I think it threw him a little bit because he missed a couple key pitches here and there. And then I think there was a close pitch that I believe on the MLB K-Zone on the app caught the corner for one of the Twins hitters, but I think the home plate ump knew that it was a pitch clock violation, so he called it a ball. And fans can have an impact, and they did in the wild card series. So don't let a crooked number in the first inning get you down, I guess is that's my fatherly advice to the young sports fans who are damaged out there. So do you guys want to do a little Immaculate Grid before we part ways here? This Game 2 recap or Game 3 recap? All right. We'll put this on the board here for the YouTube audience. We're looking to go 9 for 9. That's how you can be immaculate in the Immaculate Grid. We are looking for a Blue Jay who was a Padre, a Blue Jay who was a Cub, and a Blue Jay who was a Giant, a Brewer who was a Padre, a Brewer who was, a Cub, and a Brewer who was a Giant. And then we're looking for a Padre who struck out 200 batters in a season, a Cub who struck out 200 batters in a season, and a Giant who struck out 200 batters in a season. We'll put 8 minutes on the clock just for an arbitrary constraint. Let's go.
All right. So how far back do we want to go with Brewers and Padres who have made recent trades?
Well, we could go Greg Vaughn, right? Or didn't Greg Vaughn play for the Brewers and the Padres?
I think he did. Because I was going to say,
did Gary Sheffield play for those teams?
Yes. Yes, he did. Because he started as I believe he was a shortstop for the Brewers.
And then wasn't he a Padre after that?
Yes, he definitely was.
Yankees, Tigers. He's played a lot of teams.
Yes, he definitely was a Padre.
Sheffield or Greg Vaughn? What do you think?
I think Greg Vaughn's going to be very rare. Don't you?
So I am right about that, right? Greg Vaughn hit with the Padres, hit 55 home runs one year for sure.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I'm pretty sure he played for the Brewers before that.
Oh, let's go for it.
Greg Vaughn.
Just fall on our faces if I'm wrong.
Let's
here
go for it.
right away.
Let's
Greg
do it.
Vaughn.
Caution
Greg
to the
Vaughn.
wind. I almost knocked my
okay over there?
microphone over.
Can be like the first inning of the Twins
I
game.
got
if I'm
so
wrong.
mad. Oh, that's good.
6%.
6%. That's not terrible, I guess.
I think the O-Dog works here. I think Orlando Hudson
Oh yeah,
was
for
a
sure.
Padre and a
Let's do it.
J.
Vince Vaughn.
The O-Dog.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
10%? 0.9%.
0.9%. Blue Jay and a Cub. Joe Carter, right? Because
Joe Carter would work there.
he came up as a Cub, went to the Cleveland, then he went to Toronto.
Matt Garza would work for Cub Brewer.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that. Let's check that box there. That's good. It's a good box. Jose Hernandez would work there too. Wait, hold on. Is Jose Hernandez going to be more obscure than Matt Garza? Remember Jose Hernandez? He had the single season strikeout record one time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then do we want to use him for 200 Ks for Cubs?
Oh, he was a shortstop.
Oh,
No, he struck out that much.
struck out. That
Yeah.
I think Garza's going to be pretty rare. I think you're fine with Garza. They're both going to be rare. They're both going to be less than 1%, right?
I don't know about that. 4%.
4.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Let's see here.
Brewer, who was a Giant, you would have Taylor Rogers, who bounced
Oh,
Wait,
from the Padre, right?
that's Taylor Rogers?
Taylor. Are you thinking of his brother, Judd?
Tyler Rogers? Wait, did
Oh,
Taylor
no,
Rogers?
Oh, Judge is right.
Who pitched for the
Judd is
Twins?
right.
It's
Judd
Taylor,
is
right?
Yes. Because they're playing together now, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but he was a Brewer because he got traded from the Padres to the Brewers after the Twins traded him.
He's been bouncing around a lot since the Twins.
Yep. But I don't think he's going to
It's recent.
This,
It might be.
This
It might be
could be high, but
because it's
Let's see.
recent. 15.
9.
9. Okay, 9.
That's not bad.
Phil, we used this guy's name the other day. Did Aaron Hill also play for the Giants, the second baseman, the slugger? Oh. I feel like he did.
Did Jeff Kent play for the Jays?
He played for the I know he went from the Jays to the Diamondbacks. He was in the NL West.
Jeff Kent was Mets, Giants.
I thought he played for the Blue Jays for some reason, but don't hold me to that. If you guys
I don't know on Aaron Hill. I'm not totally sure on Aaron Hill, but that sounds like the Giants are kind of a. I don't know.
I'm looking at that.
We can come back to that. Let's go through some of the 200K guys here.
All right.
So San Diego Padres recently, Jake Peavy comes to mind.
Blake Snell did it. That'll be high. Or
That's
he's done-
recent.
He just literally did it.
Padres have had some good pitchers.
What about way back? Do you have anyone from like their run in the 80s?
Lamar Hoyt,
Whoa.
All-Star in '85 that they got from the White Sox.
We have learned our lesson that some of the older pitchers don't strike out as many batters as we think.
that's what I was going to say. I'm giving you the pitchers from that era, but I don't know that. Once I found out Jim Palmer didn't do it, I was like all thrown off, very flustered.
You know, did Carlos Zambrano do it with the Cubbies?
Oh yeah. Carlos, that's a good. Let's go through some of the Cubby ones. Carlos Zambrano.
Kerry Wood did it, but I think that'll be high because even though he only did it like once, it was
Did
so
Matt-
memorable.
Kerry Wood,
Did
Mark Pryor.
Mad Dog do it?
Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
Is that his nickname?
I've
Mad
never heard that. For
They call Greg
Maddox.
Maddux Mad Dog?
I remember them calling Mad Dog, yeah. Back in the day.
Not a huge strikeout guy,
Right.
but a big innings guy. So
Yeah. And he does strike out guys, but yeah, again, I'm giving you the pitchers from that
Jake
era.
Arrieta probably did it. I think Carlos Zambrano, of all the guys we've named, is probably the most forgotten.
All right.
Trying to think back in the 90s too, but let's try Zambrano. He did it for sure.
Good hitter too. 6%.
6%.
Crazy. Absolutely.
Super crazy.
Absolutely out of his mind. Nutso, but he's a good player.
So for Giants, I'm kind of bad with like old pitchers and what they did statistically, but that
So-
Giants franchise goes back a long ways.
So
Carl Hubble.
Lincecum and Kane are your
Would
horses
Carl
here.
Hubble have done it?
Carl Hubble, the screwball pitcher.
I'm trying to it was Jonathan Sanchez, Ryan Vogelslung. Did any of those guys sneak up on us? That would be-
Lincecum's probably the
Lincecum and
highest
Kane
one.
are going to be 1 and 2.
Did Dave Dravecki get to 200 before his arm fell off?
Dude, that was so sad when his arm snapped. Him and then Tom Browning's arm snapped.
Who was the ace when they went to the World Series with Bonds in 02? Do you remember who? the guy was.
Kirk Reeder was on that staff. I'm trying to think of that. That O2 staff did not have.
Did any of the so Phil go way back though to like the New York Giants, like the Carl.
Man,
Would there be another one?
So Carl Hubble was a legendary screwball pitcher. So much so that after his career was over, his arm he was a lefty, I think. His arm sort of like hung sideways because of all the screwballs he threw. He was incredible. Again, I don't know. I mean, if Carl Hubble threw 290 or 300 innings in a season, would he have gotten to 200 strikeouts?
So, yeah, we could add Mad Bum to this, but between Lincecum, Kane, Mad Bum, those are the three horses that won them World Series.
Kane do it, you think? Because if Kane did, that might be.
Kane might be the rarest of the three.
I feel like Mad Bum was going to be. I feel
Kane.
like
Carl Hubble would be the rarest if we're right about him. You know, depends on how risky we want to get.
Well, that's up to you guys. I'm throwing the name out there, but this is not my
only feel
bailiwick.
comfortable with Kane. But if you guys feel comfortable with Hubble,
I'm fine with Kane.
I'm fine with Kane. I think Kane.
I'll find out.
I think Kane got to 200, didn't he?
Once you, I hope so.
Come on, Matt Kane. No.
Dang it!
All right,
try Hubble. No, try Hubble.
Carl Hubble. There he is.
Carl Hubble.
Carl Hubble back in the day. Look at him on the hill.
No, Carl Hubble.
Okay.
Now we're just screwed. Oh no.
You know what? It was worth.
It's broken.
Matt Kane's fine. Declan's rarely wrong on that stuff.
Yeah.
Did Levon pitch for both these teams?
He didn't strike anybody out. I see.
Sorry.
Go Cubs Jays for me and put in Joe Carter because I don't know that people will remember him as a Cub. I'm curious what the rarity score is there.
9%.
It's okay. It's not great.
We got one more guess left here.
Well, try Aaron Hill. Let's just see if you were right. It doesn't matter anymore. A Giant who was a J. Just want to see.
We're like Alex Krilloff.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
There it is. Okay.
We're like Alex Krilloff.
Can we see that list of Giants pitchers? Just kind of curious. Oh, man.
18.
Only 5.7 average score on this one. This is one of the hardest ones.
All right.
See, there's got to be a lot of New York Giants back in the day.
There's actually two recently. Carlos Rodon did it last year. Kevin Gausman, who the Twins roughed up.
Gausman, yeah.
He did it. Jeff Samardzija, Shark did it.
Oh,
the former.
Oh, I was right.
Notre Dame football player, Phil. That's your guy.
I didn't feel good about this, but Jonathan Sanchez in 2010 struck out 200. Jason Schmidt. That was the guy I knew there was someone.
Schmidt. That's a good Pirate who was a Giant.
Yes.
Gaylord Perry.
Right? Didn't Jason Schmidt go from like the Pirates to the Braves?
Let's see. Well, I thought he went Pirates to Giants, didn't he? You're probably right. He went from Braves to Pirates.
Oh, okay.
And then he went from Pirates to Giants, and then he wrapped his career with the Dodgers.
Actually, you know what? He might have been in the Denny Nagel trade, going the other way.
2001. Oh, back then, 96. Yeah. That era.
When Denny
Padres
got
only had
traded.
8. Let me look at Padres quick here, just so we know for future reference. So Snell did it obviously this year. Joe Musgrove did it 2 years ago. Oh, this is a great name. Next time this happens, if the Padres ever on the grid again, Tyson Ross.
Tyson Ross.
Ross. Everyone remember that. Tyson Ross.
By the way, Jason Schmidt was in the Denny Nagel trade, so that's a good right there. Jason Schmidt.
Or Ian Kennedy. That's another name.
I think I owned him on my rotisserie team.
Wow. All right. Wow. That's a deep dive right there. So, all right, there's your Immaculate Grid, your pie chart of blame for a Twins Game 3 loss. We don't know what time they're playing tomorrow, but we will do a post-game podcast recap whenever the game ends, whether it's at 4 o'clock or 10 o'clock. We're not quite sure. We don't know when to warm ourselves up. That's the hard part. I think it's tough for Joe Ryan to warm up. We don't get warm up our takes, our vocal cords.
Our writing.
So, all right, that's a wrap. Score North Twin Show. Thanks for making this now one of the most popular baseball podcasts in America, apparently, over the past few weeks. Thank you for that. Please click the subscribe button and the like button on the Score North YouTube channel. And if you could give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts, it helps spread the word about this community of Twins fans you guys are helping us build here. So we will see you tomorrow.